What is up, guys? John with Gaming Through the Decades, and we have got a pickups video. It's been forever, and this is ridiculous. And I hope you got your coffee ready, because this is going to take a while. Alright, so lately, as far as the channel goes, I have been focusing my attention on a lot of other things other than pickups. I do enjoy the pickups videos. However, I don't want that to be the primary focal point of my channel. So it's been a while since I did one, and because of that, I've got a lot of games we have to cover here. And I've got games from the AZ Game On Expo back in August. I've got games from the end of July. Games from the last few weeks, but having said that, let's go ahead and get started. So let's go cover PS2 games first, just some random PS2 games I picked up. Really cheap, good games to have. The first one is a rather interesting one, and I believe it also came out on the Wii, and that is Heavenly Guardians.
Heavenly Guardians is a scrolling shooter game developed by Starfish SD, released February 26, 2008 for the PlayStation 2 and Wii console.
Like you saw, it is a top-down shooter for the PS2, and it's got hand-drawn graphics, so it's a really cool game. You don't really expect to see games like this on the PS2, but it's a good couch co-op game, good party game. Paid like $2 for it, so if you see it laying around for a couple bucks, go ahead and grab it. Definitely one worth having. Next game is just a favorite series, one of my favorite series. I loved it for the PlayStation, and have never played them on the PS2, so I figured I'd give it a try. And that is the Legacy of Kain series, Soul Reaver 2.
Soul Reaver 2 is an action-adventure game developed by Crystal Dynamics and published by Eidos Interactive. It is a sequel to the Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, and the third game in the Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver series. Initial release date was 2001 for the PlayStation 2 and Microsoft Windows.
Haven't really got too much of a chance to play it. Played maybe the first 20 minutes of it. Definitely seems like it's going to be a game I'm going to enjoy. Love the series. So that is one that has moved up as far as when it will be played. So that is definitely one I'm going to plan on going through in the near future. So we'll definitely give that one a go around. Now these next two games I got at the AZ Game On Expo for a really good deal. The one was pretty surprising that I only paid for it. A really good deal on this one, and that is Super Mario Galaxy. I gotta be honest with you, I know a lot of people enjoy this game, especially people who enjoyed the Mario 64. Not my cup of tea, to be honest with you. Just not a big fan of this game for some reason. I don't know. So I'll probably just wind up go ahead and trading it in, or use it for trade bait, but you know, it's got its place in the Wii library. It's certainly not a bad game. It's just not something I don't see myself really getting into. I just couldn't get into it. So we'll go ahead and put that one away and probably use it. I got a good deal for it, so I'm either probably gonna go ahead and sell it or trade it. This next one is a game that I really wanted for the Nintendo GameCube. Again, got it at the AZ Game On Expo. Super good deal. So glad I found this one. And that is Luigi's Mansion.
Hello?
Luigi's Mansion is a 2001 action-adventure game published by Nintendo for the Nintendo GameCube. It was the first game in the Mario franchise to be released for the GameCube. Initial release date was September 14th of 2001 and was a GameCube exclusive.
One I've never played. It's on the list of the never-ending backlog, but it's definitely one I'm glad I have. I enjoyed Super Mario. I'm enjoying Super Mario Sunshine. So Luigi's Mansion got a lot of great reviews. I got a good deal on it, so I figured, you know, I'll go ahead and play through it. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. This next one is a 64 game, and you know, I don't have too many 64 games in my collection. And this one was on my list. I saw it at the game store. I had some trade-in credits, so I really didn't pay much for it, if anything, if I remember. And I figured, you know what, it was there. I had some trade-in credit. I might as well go ahead and get it knocked out. It is one I enjoyed as I was younger. Going over to a friend's house, they had it. So it was definitely one I enjoyed playing, and that is Star Fox 64 for the Nintendo 64.
Star Fox 64, known in Australia and Europe as Lylat Wars, is a 3D scrolling shooter game themed around aircraft combat for the Nintendo 64 console. Initial release date was April 27, 1997.
Again, I'm glad I got it. You know, it's definitely one, probably more of a throw-in game for me. So if I have some free time, just go ahead and throw it in, you know, play it for 20, 30 minutes if I have the time. And it's not going to be a game I'm going to sit down and, you know, make it my main game for a while. So definitely still a pretty cheap game, thankfully, and I'm glad I have it. So looking forward to, you know, maybe not playing through it, but enjoying it again. All right, so these next lot of games, I've been focusing heavily on OG Xbox games because the exclusive games are great. I enjoy platformers, I enjoy action games, I enjoy racing games, and OG Xbox is really a system for me. Maybe if you're somebody who's into RPGs, maybe not so much, but the cost of OG Xbox games right now are astronomically low, or I don't know if that makes sense, but anyways, they're super low. And I figured, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get these knocked out of the way. So the next lot are some games for the Xbox, and then I'm gonna have some exclusive games that I really wanted to have in the collection, I really wanted to play. And while the prices are low, I'm gonna get those out of the way. So let's go ahead and check these out while we can. Now the first two, I don't see these very often. They're not exclusives for the Xbox, but I wanted to have them. I don't see them very often, and they're really very cheap. The first one is Serious Sam. And I recently did a retro replay on it, so I'm not gonna go ahead and get into detail on that one. But we'll go ahead and get into detail on this one, and this is Serious Sam 2.
Serious Sam 2 is a first-person shooter video game released for Microsoft Windows and Xbox and is the sequel to 2002 video game Serious Sam: The Second Encounter. It was developed by Crow Team and was released on 11th of October in 2005.
Now this is actually different from Serious Sam: The Second Encounter. The Second Encounter is actually on the first Serious Sam. So you have on the first Serious Sam, the first and second encounter, and Serious Sam 2 is a completely different game, but it's a pretty good game. I played the first probably few levels of the game, and I actually just wanted to go back and play the first one through. So recently beat the first one. Oh man, it's such a fun game. If you like first-person shooters or you're not too familiar with Serious Sam, I would go ahead and watch that retro replay that I did. It's a little bit of a longer one, but it's definitely fun. And like I said, if you like first-person shooters, go ahead and grab that game. One also is not an exclusive, but I really enjoyed PC games early 2000s, and a lot of games that were on PC and on multi-plat. I really think they just did best on the Microsoft Xbox because, I mean, it was essentially a computer gaming console. I mean, it was a computer in a box that you plugged into your TV. So from what I've seen and from what I've experienced, the closest thing to PC is going to be the Xbox game, so that's why I went ahead and grabbed this, and that is one of my favorite Simpsons games of all time, nostalgia aside, Simpsons Hit and Run.
The Simpsons Hit and Run is an action-adventure video game based on the animated series The Simpsons. It was developed by Radical Entertainment and published by Vivendi Universal Games. Platforms included PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, and also came out on the Windows platform.
Homie, somebody ate every dessert in the house. I need you to run to the store and pick up some of that ice cream with the miniature pies in it.
Oh, must have been one of our kids. Probably Millhouse.
I was really never a huge Grand Theft Auto fan, but I really enjoyed this one, and you know, it's strange to me, but I just enjoyed The Simpsons. To me, it was really cool that you could explore the entire town and like whole open world, and that was just really neat for me. It's still, man, it's such a fun game, but it's not overly difficult. It's actually rather easy, and you know, it's just a fun game to play through, and I'm working on playing through this right now, and I'm excited to do it. Next game was a AZ game on pickup. Saw this for a couple bucks and had to grab it. I've never played it, but it's definitely a critically acclaimed game, fantastic game. And is it in 720? No, it's not in 720, but that is Ninja Gaiden for the Microsoft Xbox.
Ninja Gaiden is an action-adventure hack-and-slash video game developed by Team Ninja for the Xbox video game console. The initial release date was March 2nd, 2004. Platforms also included the PlayStation 3.
And haven't played through it yet, so I mean, as far as what you saw in the game preview, that's pretty much all I know about it. But it's definitely on the list of the ones I need to play through, and that'll probably be for me maybe one of my primary games. I have a primary game that I play through, and then I have, you know, just if I have some extra time, I'll have some throwing games that, you know, play like an arcade style game or whatever, but that'll definitely be one of those primary games. Now, all of these are exclusive for the Xbox, and two of them are two games that are starting to get up in value. One game I got real lucky on because, you know, the one game store I was at is the electronics trade-in store. I got, every now and then they screw up and they misprice something. And I got this one for a very good deal and was very surprised, and that is Panzer Dragoon Orta.
Panzer Dragoon Orta is a rail shooter video game published by Sega for the Xbox. The game was released in Japan in December of 2002, January 2003 in the United States, and 3 months later in the PAL territories.
If you've never played this game or have any interest in rail shooters, even if you don't, this is an amazing game, and I think it's 720. No, it is 480, but for some reason, I cannot get this to play on my Xbox. I have to play this on my 360, which is pretty cool because it does upscale it and it looks even better. But you know what? I recently picked up an Xbox with a Samsung drive in it. So I haven't tried it in that one yet. Maybe it'll play in there, but I don't mind playing it on the 360. Great game, super awesome graphics, non-stop action. If you see it and you want it, get it now while these Xbox prices are low. So I would advise on that one. This next one is actually one you're seeing now play. And this is a pretty cool platformer. I had no idea it existed. There weren't too many huge platformers. This one and the next one. The next one's probably the most popular, but this one I didn't know about. It's actually a really good game, and the guy from Microsoft, he said when he made it, he said of all the games he worked on throughout the years, this is one of the ones he had the most fun working on. So take that for what it is, but it is Voodoo Vince for the Xbox.
Voodoo Vince is a 2003 platforming video game created by Clayton Kozlarek and developed by Beep Industries and published by Microsoft Game Studios for the Xbox. Unlike other Xbox games, however, this one is not compatible with an Xbox 360. Initial release date was September 23rd, 2003.
Ew, dead monster smell.
Wow, definitely an interesting game. Playing it right now is actually my primary game now because I wanted to play through a platformer. So I'm in like the third level. It's got all your platforming elements with your puzzles and everything. So it's definitely got all the elements it needs for a platformer. But yeah, I mean, it definitely has all the elements. It is a little different in the fact that you are a voodoo doll. So in order to, you can punch, you can do your regular attack, but to inflict pain on all the enemies on screen, for example, you could inflict pain on yourself and kill all the enemies with like a one-shot type of power kill. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't use it too much in the game. It could probably use it a little more, but it's definitely interesting, and it's a super cheap exclusive for the Xbox. This next one, again, I really love platformers, so this is a very popular one. I've never played it again. Like, pretty much, I've actually never really played any of the exclusive games for the Xbox, so that's why I am really enjoying it. It's like a brand new system for me, and I'm not spending a ton of money, you know, like you would on like an Xbox One or a PS4. I'm not spending 50, 60 bucks a game. I'm spending $5 a game. So can't wait to play through this one, and that is Blinx.
Blinx the Time Sweeper is a platform game developed by Arton and published by Microsoft Game Studios. It was released for the Xbox on October 7th of 2002. A sequel, Blinx 2, Masters of Time and Space, was released for Xbox in 2004.
Again, haven't played it much, so what you see in the preview is all I know. If you guys have any experience with it, let me know. I'm sure it's a pretty popular, one of the most popular platformers for the game. And again, it's not like, I think I paid less than $5 for this at a game store, so I was at retail stores. So I'm getting these games before all the, you know, trendy let's go collect for consoles people catch on. The next one I've never played, but it looks like an action adventure style game. And yeah, I've never played it. Maybe it looks like a Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver type of game, and that is Azuric. I don't know how to say it. Correct me in the comments.
Azuric is an action-adventure game developed by Adrenum Games and published by Microsoft Game Studios. Azuric was released early in the Xbox console's life with a release date of November 25th, 2001.
I like action games, so I'm sure this will be one that I enjoy. So yeah, put that on the never-ending backlog list. Now the next one is the last original Xbox, and then I'm going to get into some interesting games. Well, maybe not interesting. One very interesting, but two, and another really good game for the Genesis. But this one, I got it while I can before people get ridiculous about it. I played the first one on the Dreamcast, so that's a dead giveaway what it is. Never played the second one, really wanted it. Figured, you know what, now is the perfect time to buy it, and before it gets ridiculous, because it's eventually going to get crazy, and that is Shenmue 2.
Shenmue 2 is an open-world action-adventure video game developed by Sega AM2 and published by Sega for the Dreamcast in 2001. It did see a later release for the Xbox in 2002.
lot of you guys might have heard me say in the past that I have gamer ADD. If I'm not, killing stuff within the first few minutes and getting into battles, I usually turn off. But there was something about the first one that I really enjoyed, and I could never really put my finger on it, and whether it was just because it was like a new style of game for me at the time, or if it was just the artwork or the way it was made. But yeah, I just really enjoyed the first one. So this type of game, from what I hear, the second one is very much like the first one. So once I beat Voodoo Vince, or my next primary game, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on this one. And man, I'm really super excited to get into this. So definitely will be a retro replay with Shenmue 2. All right, so this next one is actually a ROM hack, and I got it online and I saw it, and I'm a huge fan of the series. If you follow my Twitter, or if you're friends with me on Facebook, you know what I'm talking about here. And this is Tekken 3 for the Sega Genesis. And I mean, it's definitely an interesting game. So let's go ahead and check that one out. Yeah, interestingly enough, I don't have a case for it because I couldn't even find a cover for it on Cover Project. It would have been cool to put this one in the cover or in a case, but I paid a couple bucks for it off the website, and it's an interesting game to say the least. It's not a very good game, but for what I paid for it, it's kind of cool just to have in the collection. Again, I only paid a couple bucks for it, so it's kind of cool, like, show people or to have it in there and to just play Tekken 3 on the Sega Genesis every now and then. So definitely a cool little find that I sort of enjoy. It's hard. All right, so the next one is a game I played a lot when I was a kid for the Nintendo, and it's on the Genesis as well. But Genesis is a little better updated graphics, and this is kind of like one of the first remasters, I guess, maybe, from back in the day, and that is Battletoads for the Sega Genesis. Now, this is actually a reproduction cart, and it's definitely not fooling anybody, but, for what I paid, it's worth maybe getting the reproduction and saving yourself. I mean, this is a $20 game loose. I paid like $3.99 for it. Plays just like the original. Really no difference from the Genesis. And I went to coverproject.net and printed this cover out, which is pretty cool. So that saved me a lot of money. And then as far as the case, I actually was in my retro store, and I was like, you know what? I need some cases. I want to start, printing some reproduction labels, because I got a lot of loose Sega Genesis carts, and I don't like loose Sega Genesis carts. They're small and they don't stack well, and it gets kind of just messy. I'm not a huge fan of it. So start looking at some of the sports titles, and you got to look at the non-EA titles. So Joe Montana's Football, for example, pretty much any game store is going to have about 10 copies, and they sell for like $2 a piece at my retro store. So I grabbed like 3 or 4 cases. I took them up front, and I was like, hey, can I just buy the cases off of you for like $1 a piece? It was $2 with the gaming case, and the guy was like, you know what? You're in here a lot, so I'll just go ahead and take the cases and just take the games out. It's no big deal. So, the moral of the story, I guess, in that case is, if you guys are collectors or retro gamers, I would say frequent your retro game store a lot. Because they might be able to help you out, like, even if it's like $1 here, $1, or maybe some cases every now and then, it's gonna help you in the long run, and it's good to have that relationship with these guys. Because you're a collector, you're giving them their business, so they're always, if you're in there and you're a customer, they're gonna work with you, 90% of the time. That might not be the case in all stores, but From what I've had experience with and some other friends, I would say definitely build that relationship. Even if you're not going in there all the time to buy expensive games, even if you're just buying a $5 game every now and then, you know, make sure they know you, make sure they see you, you know, talk to them. It's definitely going to help you in the long run. Like I said, even if it's, you know, just for the cases. And he's like, you know, if you want to give me a couple bucks for him, you can. And I was like, you know what? I'll just make it up to you in the long run. So maybe next time I'll just, you know, buy the whole game for the $2 or whatever. So yeah, anyways, that's the pickups. I actually did leave quite a bit out. I left a lot of Xbox 360 games out, because you guys know it wasn't anything rare. You know, it was just basic titles. So I wanted to really just cover the retro, if you want to consider 6th gen retro. I consider it retro. I mean, how could you not? It's 16 years old at this point, 14 years old. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you picked up. Let me know if you have any experience with these games. And until next time, guys, we'll see you on the next video.